A lot of people like lights that have a lot of throw. They want to be able to really cast a beam a long distance. So we've looked at a few in the past together, and I wanted to compare these two Olights. These are both throwers. They're both Javelots, even though they're quite a bit different. We have the Javelot Pro 2, and we have the Javelot Long Range. You can see they're both very deep reflectors, smooth with single emitters. Now, the emitter on the Pro 2 is quite a bit larger, as is, of course, the reflector, obviously, right? The Pro 2 is a 2500 lumen max with a rated 1050 meter throw. It runs two 21700 batteries in series, each one 5000 milliamp hour. You have a side switch. It gives you battery indication on the left. On this one, you have to press and hold. And then you could toggle through by short clicking. It's a lot different than the normal Olight UI. Then press and hold again to turn it off. It also has a tail cap, typical where it's a gas pedal, depending on how hard to turn it on, or if you quick click it, it stays on. The same is true with the Javelot Long Range. However, as you can see on the Javelot Long Range, you just have a button. You don't get to see what level you're on. It just gives you this one's green. And then it's just a click for on. And then you hold it to cycle through the different modes. But on the long range, you also press and hold for a moonlight. The Pro 2, being such a huge light, it does not have a moonlight, which really makes sense. You also have a gas pedal for the long range. For turbo, you double click the side button or push the tail cap all the way in. For the regular Javelot, or the Pro 2, I'm sorry, there isn't a turbo. You just click through, and the high, when it displays all four, that is your turbo. Or, like I said, push the tail cap all the way in. So, as I said, the Pro 2 is a 2500 lumen max. The long range is a 1350 lumen max. So there's quite a bit of difference there. 1050 meters of rated throw, and the long range is 730 meters of rated throw. At its lowest setting, the Javelot Pro 2 is 15 lumens, and that will run for 12 days continuously. Again, you got a lot of battery power in that one. With the long range, with its single 21700, you get 7.5 days as opposed to 12. Same 15 lumen output, but 7.5 days, which you get a week out of 15 lumen constant on with this small light. That's pretty great. And small is relative here, right? It's still a 21700 light. So it's still not a small flashlight, but small compared to the Pro 2 for sure. Both barrels are knurled and give good grip. Look at the difference in the heads. I gotta say, I like on the Pro 2 how it has the battery indicator there and the level indicator. But I like the pattern of the UI on the Javelot long range better. I like a quick click on and then hold to toggle through the levels. I like that a lot better, and then quick click off. I always mess up when I'm using the Pro 2 and have to correct myself. I'm just not used to it. The long range comes with a nice holster, which I didn't bring down, of course, but comes with a nice belt holster. Nothing fancy. We've all seen it if you look at Olight's, but I have carried it in the holster, and it works really good. Just slides in and out, holds it right there, no problem. The tail cap on both of them can take the pressure switch so that you can run them with the pressure switch, mount them as a weapon light. And of course, they're all the magnetic charging, which I prefer. Some people are down on the magnetic charging, saying that it's, proprietary and everything, but I like it. I have some of the Aminos. I can set all my lights on, and I have enough Olight chargers. It doesn't matter. I give them to people as spares if they need it. So yeah, they're both good and capable. And if you just look at the stats, it looks like the Pro 2 will absolutely smoke the long range. But you got to ask, are you really trying to look a kilometer away? Can you even see a kilometer away? 750 meters, or 730, I'm sorry, that's still a heck of a throw. And I know if it says 730 meters or, 1,050, you're not really lighting stuff up a quarter mile or a kilometer away. That's their certain rating for a certain amount of light, but it does give you something to go by. But what we're going to do is take this out and look down through the woods, and I have a spot cored out for flashlight testing, and where we'll be able to see out to about 200 yards, and we'll see what kind of differences there are. We'll look down the road in the dark, and I'm sure that we're going to get better throw out of the Pro 2, but is it enough to make a difference with what you normally do? That's the question. I'm going to raise this up onto the wall right there so we can get some beam shots. So we have the long range on this side and the Pro 2 on this side, on the right. Boy, they look very, very similar, don't they? Got some spill. They look very similar. It's funny, though. I guess it's not unexpected that the Pro 2 has a smaller amount of spill, being that the lens is so much deeper. And if you look at the hotspot, it's just a little bit more focused. And probably the extra lumens are going to come in handy too when we get out in the woods. And when we start looking at distance. So I guess the whole point of this is to compare these two lights. So, if you need the extra range, if that turns out to be a big enough difference, should you go with the Pro 2? We're going to find out. The extra battery power is something to think about, though. If you're going to be out on a hunt or something and you don't want to run out of power, maybe you do want to go with the Pro 2 and get both those two 21-700s, but for the same amount of bulk, you could just throw another 21-700 right in your pack and swap it out for in this light, in the long range. But let's head outside and we'll get an idea of what these two can do in the actual darkness, looking around down the road in the woods and all that. And then you can be the judge of which one's better for you. All right. See you outside. Okay, well, it's pretty dark. The moon is intensely bright, and it's a clear night, so it's not totally pitch black, but I have the exposure locked. So let's go ahead. We're going to go with the Javelot long range first, the little guy. And there's moonlight. Low. Medium. Really starting to see some distance now. High. And there's turbo. That's all out of this little long range. All right. Now, let's do the Pro. So here's low on the Pro 2. There's medium, high, wow, and turbo. Wow, that thing is screaming bright. Let me raise this up a little bit more. Gives you a better idea. That thing is really bright. So there's the Javelot long range. There's the Pro 2. Long range, Pro 2. Long range, Pro 2. There's definitely a difference there, isn't there? But they both are super good throwers. All right. Let's take this show on the road, literally. We might be able to see a little bit better. Only bad part is that there's a street light. I think it's about 400 yards down the road. But we should still be able to tell a lot. All right. You can see the street light down there. It's fairly dim. So, going with the Javelot long range turbo. Woo! Really reflects off that sign. And now the Pro 2 on turbo. Let's see if we can zoom in down there a little bit more. I don't know if we'll be able to focus. That's the problem. Okay, there's the Javelot long range. And there's the Pro 2. Long range, Pro 2. Yeah, if you look up in the trees, the difference, you can see some difference. But do you think if you were down there looking for something at 400 yards, there'd be too much of a difference? There is a difference. I'm not saying that there's not. For sure, there's a difference. But I guess what you have to ask yourself, is it enough of a difference to make you want to carry the larger light? Or does the smaller light in a nice belt holster work good for you? So let's just take a look. What if we're just out kind of walking through the woods a little bit where our sight is limited? Yeah, maybe that's, stacking the deck in favor of the smaller light. But let's take a look. So there's medium. I'm zoomed way in. Zoom way out here. There we go. There's high with the Javelot long range. Okay, this is the lowest for the Pro 2. Next step up. You tell the spill just isn't very much on this. So you're getting a beam where the hot spot is, but it's the next level up. Sorry, I keep... And then that's on turbo, the highest setting for the Pro 2. It really penetrates those woods, doesn't it? You can see in there really far. But you're limited by how far you can see by the trees. So now there's the Javelot long range, the small one. There's turbo. And that's high. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. If you're really, really, really trying to see as far as you can, there'd be a difference. But you can look as far as you can see into the woods. And if you're walking, then the spill is fine. You could turn this down a little bit and still walk through the woods just fine. This is the lowest setting. We'll go one up. Oops. This is on the Pro 2. So see, you could still walk and find your way through the woods absolutely fine. I don't think either one of these is the best walking light for dog walking or for woods walking. I think you're going to be way better served with a floody light. But if we're talking about we want to have a thrower light and we're going to press it into service, yeah, either one of these have enough spill. It's not like an LEM or something where it's only the tiny little spot. That's something I should get out, is the LEM. We'll take a look at that. LEP, laser excited phosphorus. I'll get that LEP out and we'll take a look at that sometime too, here soon. I actually think with the amount of spill being a little bit larger, the Javelot long range, a smaller light's better for just a general use walking through the woods. You know, they both have the tail caps, so you can use them for a tactical. But then if you're trying to sneak out in the woods for hunting or something, you can always turn on the moonlight with the long range, where the Pro 2 does not have that ability. So anyway, a little bit of blasting from the Pro 2, and we're going to call it a day or a night. And I hope you like the comparison from the Javelot long range to the Javelot Pro 2. I hope you kind of got to see a little bit of a difference between the lights to help you make a decision between the two. If you were faced with a decision between those two, maybe this will help you see if you want to go with small or big. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. See ya.